Welcome to Retrained Search, the podcast where we lift the lid on what it's really like to work retained, discuss the stories we've gathered along the way, and give you all a peek behind the scenes of our amazing community and how they're getting ahead.
Cool. Hello, everyone. Hey, Lou.
Hi, George.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to episode 1 of, I'm going to call it the Retrained Search podcast for today, but this is that new. We don't really know what it's going to be called yet, right, Lou?
No.
Why don't we start with some intros, Lou? Tell everyone who you are. They probably already know, but...
Yeah, I'm Louise Archer, and I'm the founder and coach at Retrained Search. That's the stock answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a load of other things as well, but yeah, that's one of them.
And a mother, and practically a vet, with your chickens and your lambs and your horse and thing you've got. Yeah, absolutely.
And what about you?
I'm Jordan Taylor. I am, I suppose, what's the word I'd use? I was going to use protege, but that sounds like I'm blowing smoke up my ass. I am a
serial trainer buyer.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I am a product of Louise Archer and Louise Archer's course. I was a contingent recruiter for many years before Lou and the course taught me how to transition to retained, and now I get to help other people do the same thing. I am not a father yet, will be in 2.5 months, and I fortunately just have a dog and 2 cats. No chickens or lambs.
How are you feeling about becoming a father for the first time, George?
Excited, to be honest. Very excited. I think life's about to change. But all those nights I spent working contingently at 3-4 in the morning trying to find candidates before my competitors was almost training for being up awake with a baby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, feeling ready. Wife's in nesting mode. We've practically rebuilt the house, but that's another time. That's a story for another time. But we're really excited to be here. We're really excited to be launching a podcast. It's something we've wanted to do for a long time. We've talked about it a lot, but finally we're here doing it. Why a podcast, Lou? What are we hoping to give people?
Well, what was happening and what happens is so much happens behind the scenes, doesn't it, with us? And we try and share a lot on LinkedIn, and we try and share a lot on YouTube, and we send out emails and share stuff that's going on, but so much happens in our collaboration calls, in our community, and we talk about stuff all the time, and we're helping people all the time, and nobody else gets to see it. Like, you guys listening don't get to hear about all the things that happen behind the scenes. So the intention of the podcast is to share some of that with you, so you can take a peek behind the scenes. You can hear about what other people are doing that's working, how we're helping people, and with a focus on retained work, right? Most of the people that we're working with are contingent recruiters that want to transition to retained, and we help them to do that. But some people have got more, they've got some experience of it, but there's a lot they don't know. Yeah. And the intention is to share all the stuff that you don't get to see, really. A lot of the things that you don't get to see.
Yeah, because I think it's interesting, isn't it? And I always look at our business and think, listen, of course, like any business, we're driven by wanting to be commercially successful, of course. But actually, behind the scenes, I think what certainly drives me, and I know it drives you as well, it's just something that we're really, really passionate about. Like, we've both been there working contingently, right? We both understand the challenges, the pains. We've got battle tissue and scar tissue all over us from those contingent days, and I think if we can share some of what's in our community with the people that aren't fortunate enough to be in there, then hopefully we can help them improve and get better and start removing some of the challenges that they face.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's quite a lot to it, isn't there? A lot of people think that it's just about changing the payment model, and when you ask people, what do you know about retained, or what's your experience so far, immediately I find, I don't know about you, George, but most people refer to the payment model.
Yeah.
And they say, well, it's isn't it a third, or something like that? And every time I hear that, I think, no. Yeah. I mean, that's that's the way you structure a pricing model for a retained project, but that's not what a retained project is. That's
Yeah.
not what working on a retained basis is. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of misconceptions and there's a lot of preconceptions and there's so much that I didn't know
Mm.
and so much more to it that we could talk about it a lot and still not even
Yeah,
cover
I think so.
a
And
fraction.
if you look at the podcast, that's what I really hope we're able to bring to people. If I
Yeah.
look at successful search consultants, there's a lot that goes into what makes that, right? It's confidence, it's tools, it's knowledge, and hopefully through our experience and what happens behind the doors in our community, we can share a little bit of all of that along with a bit of a laugh and some good times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
I
Okay.
reckon that's it.
Okay, so let's kind of jump into kind of some themes and let's jump into some of what's been happening over the past couple of weeks. The first thing that I'd like to talk about is the market.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about the market at the moment, but I want to tell you about a story, about a conversation I had with a business leader earlier this week, and then let's just kind of
Okay.
get to with it. So there's been a lot of talk about markets slowing down. I've heard a lot of people say, I remember when this happened in 2008, 2009, all the talk in the news is of recessions, and it can be a bit worrying, right? But actually, I want to challenge that a little bit. I spoke to a business leader of a big recruitment firm earlier last week. He's based in the US, and he was telling me that per consultant, their revenue pre-COVID was around 25,000 per head per month. Post-COVID, it went up to more like 65,000 per head per month. And he said now it has dropped a little bit. It's more like 35,000 per head per month. And he was saying how interesting it is that people think we're in this massive decline. But pre-COVID, everyone was happy, right? Actually, he said what maybe is happening is more of just a market settling after that post-COVID spike. I mean, what are you hearing from other people there?
I think there are some markets that have definitely slowed down, but I agree, like just settled from a bit of a boom period rather than a complete stop. And what I've also found is where some markets have slowed, others have picked up a bit. So the people that I've been coaching, I've been suggesting that they, check their clients don't need them right now, and in some cases they don't. But look a bit outside of that niche and look a bit more peripheral. And Nick, one of our members that I was coaching, was telling me he'd done just that and shifted his focus from SaaS into EV, into electric vehicle, and just won 4 projects. And he hadn't actually had any experience in EV, but his tech experience lent itself to EV tech, and that was what the crossover was. So I love it when markets slow because you have to improve.
Yeah.
You have to improve. And I know we've talked about this a bit recently behind the scenes, but the whole purposes of us doing this is to share the shit that we're talking about behind the scenes, which is that Ayrton Senna quote that I just absolutely love, and I can't stop using because it's so true. And having been through several downturns myself, and the oil price crash when I was in oil and gas, Jesus, is you can't overtake 15 cars in sunny weather, but you can when it's raining. And I absolutely
Out to the Power Hive in Manchester because I attended their event and that's where I heard that quote.
I love it, and it is so true. There are loads of firms that are stalling, and the firms that are using the same techniques and methods that they were are slowing down. I have heard stories of firms that have stopped completely, and that's opportunity. It's opportunity. Yeah. So I don't think there's ever a bad time in a market, and look at the opportunity that it gave everybody in COVID. Everybody pretty much shifted their ways of working, and good comes out of it. But I'm that kind of person. Like I'm a silver lining girl. Like there's a fucking silver lining in everything. I absolutely believe that. And that served me quite well. So that's how I feel about the market.
We've got a duty as recruiters to adapt in tough times, and the fish have been jumping into the boat. Someone described it to me after a couple of years.
Yeah, that's a good
We've got to
analogy.
get our fishing rod out and fish again for business and win new
Yeah.
business. And I think a lot of business development is a habit. And when you've fallen out of that habit of having to get out there and prospect, then pick up the phone and have conversations with people that you don't know and get past gatekeepers, it can be a challenge to kind of get back on the bike and start doing that again. But you have to. You have to, because if you sit there and wait for the tap to turn back on, as Ayrton Senna would say, all of your competitors are overtaking you while it's raining.
But I was also coaching someone else who had got a bit jaded with that, and he was doing loads and loads of outreach. And to be fair, you know, I've really looked at it and interrogated what he was doing, what he was sending, the frequency, who he was targeting, and it was all really, really good. And he was putting a lot of effort into it, and he's a bloody good guy. He won 1.2 million in retained revenue last year.
Right.
So, I mean, okay, the fish were jumping into the boat, but that's bloody good.
Still good going, yeah.
And but it had started to stall, and it just wasn't working like it used to. And I think he'd just got was using the same angle. It was the angle that wasn't quite right. So the angle that he was going in with was like, as he had been doing, retained is a better solution. And we do things slightly differently. And I'd like to share with you how we do that. And that had been working really well. But now it's changed a little bit. And the people that had needed him, don't really need him at the moment. And he's in SaaS. In fact, there's a bit of a theme. There is a bit of a theme there. But you know, if you can help people in the hardest markets, then you know, you can help everybody. And this story actually has helped so many people in different markets since I've been sharing it. Is this helpful, by the way? Should I carry on sharing?
I am massively engaged, so hopefully,
okay.
If we have any listeners, hopefully all of our listeners are too.
And with this business development approach, we just needed to first identify that some people don't need him right now. And that's all right, as long as he lets them know that he's there as soon as they do. That to shift his focus so that it was outside of, looking outside of the niche as well, but also to recognize that the problems are different now. Like, some people were lots and lots and lots of clients in lots and lots of industries. The problem was they had loads and loads of jobs and not enough candidates, and they were fighting over candidates.
Yeah.
And that was a problem, of course, that can be solved with a retained solution. But now the problem isn't that. It's almost always that they've got too many candidates and they haven't got many jobs. And the candidates, there's a massive influx of candidates that have been made redundant, that are applying directly, that aren't suitable, and recruiters that haven't got any jobs on, that are just absolutely bombarded everyone, and they're just swamped. So they've only got a handful of requirements, but they can't even see the wood for the trees, and that's taking up just as much time as not being able to find them in the first place. And of course, the retained solution of working in partnership solves that as well. It just eliminates all of that noise, puts a structured process in place, takes all the time of having to deal with all that shit away from them. And so it shouldn't be, you know, should I retain on this project? It's who should I retain to carry the project out? And also in this market, that most of their everyday hires, 90% of their hires can be filled using normal methods. Like, they can stick an advert on if they want to do it themselves, they can use standard agencies, and they can take CVs and they can fill those positions. But there's always a percentage in any market that can't. There's always niche positions where skills are always short. There's always senior positions where just throwing a whole load of CVs out and smashing out contingent agencies are just not gonna land well with that talent pool, or it's confidential, so you can't go and shout everybody what you're doing. That can't be solved using multiple agency methods and contingent methods. And in the outreach, we just changed his angle, so he specifically spoke to that. He spoke to that problem, and said, "I'm not interested in all the others. Leave that to your PSL. Leave that to your standard agencies." And he changed it within 24 hours. He emailed me to say he'd got 4 new meetings with brand new clients.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something we discuss a lot, don't we, Lou, with our members, that retain is just a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
And actually, get one of the biggest misconceptions is that that problem needs to be that it's a senior hire. And it
Mm,
isn't. It can be lots of different things. It can be it's niche, it can be a tough location, it's confidential, it's business critical, it's senior, there's multiple hires. You've got to understand that challenge first, right? To be able to position the solution
mm,
accordingly.
mm,
You've got to
mm.
speak to that challenge and that specific pain of that customer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Cool. So, moral of the
What?
story is that there are people winning retained business out there in the market. It's not as bad as some people might have you believe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we've been helping them to do that, which we're always doing all the time, every day. What
Yeah.
have you been helping people with recently, George?
Yeah, so one of our members, Ali, won a retained project yesterday, a nice retained project. I was
Oh, good.
absolutely delighted when I saw it. And Ali had been asking questions around proposals, and it's a big theme within our community. We get asked this a hell of a lot. What happens when we take customers through a really well executed pitch, which thankfully our members tend to do very, very well.
Mm,
When that happens and they say, great, can you send us a proposal? Can you send us some terms across? What do we do? Well, unfortunately, most people prior to joining us often send a proposal.
mm,
And I know that's true because that's what I used to do, right?
yeah.
And the challenge, or what normally happens, what often happens when we do that is nothing. Like it's as though that proposal disappears into a black hole, into the ether. We don't know, has it been looked at? Has it not? Is it being passed around? Is it sitting in someone's drawer? We lose all control. Um, so Ali came to us and said the customer had said they were really impressed with the pitch. They were very, very interested. Could she please send them across a proposal and their terms? And she wanted to know what to do in that instance. So what we recommended is that Ali arranged a call and walked them through that proposal, her understanding of their requirements, the challenge they faced, her recommended solution, along with the commercial proposal. And I think it was about 4 hours later, Ali came back in the community saying she'd done exactly that. The customer was super impressed, really thankful that she'd taken the time to speak with them again. So she was on hand to answer any questions and concerns they had, and that they were delighted to proceed.
Mm,
So it's a minor tweak, right? And yeah, there are some fundamental changes in terms of people getting out there and winning retained business successfully, but there's also a lot of little tweaks that
yeah,
increase
all the time.
conversion rate massively.
Mm. Yeah, talking of little tweaks, like I was coaching one of our mastermind members this week who is fully retained now. So he's gone from being completely contingent to fully retained through the course and is now looking to further develop the firm into the C-suite and into senior and more complex projects and grow. Um, the challenge that he's been having is the nuance between what you promise to deliver is your commitment on a retained basis. So when you first start winning retained work, it can be it can it can make it very easy if what you're committing to is to fill the position,
Yes.
can't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's how you started, right? That's how I started too. And that's great. It is, and it works really nicely. It makes it very, very easy to sell. It can be quite challenging to deliver. And the problems and the challenges that you encounter when you're committing to fill the position can mean that it's actually not profitable. It can
Mm.
mean that over a period of time, it just doesn't become commercially viable to make that commitment to your client. And there's an evolution there that happened to me, that happened to you, that happens to pretty much all of our members as they start to, I mean, increasingly now we don't teach that now, so we do teach it slightly differently now to the way we used to,
Yeah. Yeah. We
and
do.
it's working really well, right? But Dennis came through it when that's how we taught it. And now we're making that transition as so many of the other mastermind members have made. But the change in what you commit to and the difference in what you commit to at different levels is crucially important to how deliverable the work is and how
Yeah.
satisfied your customer is at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And actually, if I think of my journey, I was just a typical contingent recruiter at the start. And I felt like I'd almost been programmed that you never give bad news to a client. Like, if a client comes to you and says, I'm looking for a rocket engineer, just say, yeah, yeah, no problem, I can find you that perfect. I can absolutely deliver on that. I'll figure out how to do it later.
Mm.
It isn't the right or the best approach. You talked about that evolution, Lou. And, you know, I've been on that journey. You have, so many of our members have now. What do you think is the core component of that evolution? Is it knowledge? Is it confidence? Is it a mixture of all of the above?
God, that's a good question. I don't know whether there's a core component. Like, I look at the difference between those in our mastermind that have gone through that journey and are now, well, in a place they never expected to be and a place they've always wanted to be.
Mm.
And now they're striving for more, right? Which is incredible and a delight. But what is the common theme of what's contributed to that? I do think it's a combination of everything. I think
Yeah.
the knowledge, having all those pieces and using them and being able to put them into place and then growing in confidence as they do that, project by project by project. I think having the support on hand and being able to just say, oh, I'm not sure about this bit. What happens here? Or because there's always like nuanced scenarios, isn't there? There's stuff that
Yeah.
happens and there's no way you can put it in a program because it's just so every day we're dealing with stuff that's like,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
that's slightly different to the norm, or it's slightly nuanced because of
Yeah.
this. And clients are precious, you can't just apply a blanket approach and and alienate people. So a lot of which is why we do so many live coaching sessions every week, and why we're helping people with individual things. So I think a lot of it is them having them knowing that there's someone to say, what about this? Because they are just, we, one of the members in our mastermind, Nick, he said, I've got a situation. I've managed to uncover a compensation and benefits opportunity for a C&B study, right? And I don't know what that is. So he said, I've heard loads about it in the community. I've seen the special sessions that you've done on it. I've even looked at a couple of the the proposals and the docs and stuff that you've shared. And so when she said she was struggling for data, I just said, oh, that's something that we can help you with. And I remembered like 3 or 4 key things. And so I said that and she went, oh, that sounds really good. So what should I do now? But if he hadn't have had like a little bit of knowledge, he wouldn't have been able to go in and say, yeah, that's something I can help with. And now he can come back and I can help him with it. And so
Well, you're
we've just
right.
finished.
If he wouldn't have had that to fall back on, he probably wouldn't have even had the
He
conversation
wouldn't.
either,
Yeah,
right?
he wouldn't. And it's the same with the retain stuff at the beginning when when everyone's first doing it. You feel so much. And I know because when I transitioned, I was lucky enough to have Matt. And he was there in the background going, yeah, it's fine. Now all you need to do is do this bit. And I knew he was there. And so I think that's a big thing. Having
Yeah,
that
I love that.
confidence that comes from,
I love that you're still in touch with Matt, who taught you this, and then
yeah.
I'm there working with you, who taught me
Yeah,
that. And then
yeah.
with all our members
Mm,
who we've taught, it really is great. And I think you're right. I think every person is different. Every
mm,
person needs a different thing to
mm.
get to the point where they're confident enough to
Yeah,
not
yeah,
guarantee that they can fill a result. For me, if I'm honest, I am. I think it was you that put it this way to me, Lou. I'm absolutely a hunter rather than a farmer. I
yeah,
love the BD side of things, and I used to
yeah,
really not dislike, but I didn't look forward to delivery. And for me, I got the confidence to go and say to customers, actually, I can't guarantee this or that. You know, my job is not to manufacture people. I can't pull rabbits out of hats.
Mm,
What gave me the confidence to do that was the confidence when I was taught the right delivery model. When I knew the
yeah.
way in which that I was delivering was as good as, if not better than everybody else out there.
Mm,
And that meant that if I couldn't find the perfect candidate, I was absolutely confident that nobody else could.
yeah. Yeah. And that you'd put them in a position where they're making their decision from everybody that
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
available to them in the market. And
Yeah,
that's our job, right?
yeah,
That's
correct.
our job.
So I think every one person is, I suppose, a little bit different in what they need. That's the reason we give them the tools, the confidence, the
Yeah.
knowledge to
Yeah.
get where they need to be. Okay, so Lou, I am now going to get on to the topic that is on every UK recruiter's mind at the moment.
Right.
How do you stay cool in 30 degrees of heat?
Well, because I
Working
am
from home.
cool, George, that's how I stay
Right,
cool in 30
right.
degrees heat.
Bullshit.
How about
Anyway,
you?
so wait, what our biggest tip, each of us, is going to give every recruiter in the UK 30 degrees of heat, your one biggest tip to stay cool and working from home in this weather. I'll let you go first. I've got mine.
I said it. Just be cool. No, my tip is buy a 500-year-old house. And because it's always fucking freezing, it doesn't matter what time of year it is. That's my tip for staying cool.
Nice. Okay. And mine is join David Lloyd, right? Because we haven't got an office, right? We're all remote. My house is designed to keep the heat in, not let it out. But I go to David Lloyd when it's hot, I sit under aircon, and I'm not gonna lie,
Aircon.
Louise.
I love how you say aircon.
Aircon, sorry, and I'm not gonna lie. The other day on my lunch, I might have even gone and sat out on the patio and had a shandy.
I wondered what you were going to say then.
Yeah,
Shandy while
yeah,
you were working. How
a shandy.
unprofessional.
I know,
Were you
I know.
drinking it on your calls?
No, I wouldn't go that far. No,
No.
no. Get on them beer hats and put a shandy in each side.
I'm thinking it's almost shandy time. It is Friday afternoon, isn't it?
It is. If there's any time we should be allowed, it's now, right? It is. So, talking about shandy, alcohol, are celebrating.
Yeah.
We have had a fantastic week, right, of some of
Yeah.
our members
Yeah.
winning and having great success.
Yeah,
So
we have.
we thought it would be a nice time to celebrate that and to do a couple of shout outs and share some of their success.
Yeah, we did. We did. And we wanted to, just because they're so good, aren't they? They're so
Yeah, they're bloody
good. And they're
brilliant.
so bloody dedicated and
Yeah.
hardworking. And so I wanted to share my screen if I
It's not,
can.
it's not easy, right? It isn't
No.
easy to get out there and do this. So the fact that they're doing it is absolutely awesome. It really is.
So Mike won his first project on only 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and he's got
Yeah.
another one in the bag. Brand new client, a space he's never recruited in before. Now that's just having had no experience in retained at all, to win a brand new client in a brand new space in this market is just bloody
Yeah.
brilliant.
When he says you guys gave me the confidence there, I don't think he's giving me all of the credit, Lou. I think he means guys and girls. I'll let you have some of the
Oh,
credit.
very funny. And then Aaron, I mean, Aaron's working really hard, isn't he? He's in tech, isn't he, George?
Yeah, tech. Yeah, yeah,
And
he is.
he's in Amsterdam. There was a little picture on this one, but of a bike on a bridge, which is nice. I like Amsterdam. I'm always a
I
little
mean,
bit nervous in Amsterdam, but
the bike on the bridge is probably the most PG picture you can send.
yeah, it really is. It really is. I've had some interesting experiences there. But he started winning when was that? Maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a bit longer. But he was getting engaged work really rather than retained work. So he says here, I've got my first proper retainer, which is what he was gunning for. But now with 4 more in the pipeline. So it just goes to show you the tech space is not dead, because that's
Yeah,
the space that he's in.
if you are a grafter and you're working hard and you're adapting and you're learning and you're growing,
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely opportunity there.
Yeah. So well done, Aaron. And then another one here, Jonathan, I think's in Tokyo. Yes, he is, because he first hello from Tokyo. Awesome work, Jonathan. He's been working with us, I don't know, 6 months now. So this is an update on the next search. I haven't actually read this one yet. Literally in February for finance manager, same clients, marketing director. The marketing
Oh,
director
this
was
was always
back
what
office.
about yeah.
Jesus. We're
That's
now.
when you know you're doing well, when you're forgetting about potatoes.
Yeah, bloody hell. Well done, Jonathan. Really good. So shout out to everyone. There was more, but those were our top three for this week. So really well done, guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Superb.
absolutely. We talked about Ali earlier on, didn't we?
Yeah,
Ali
Ali's
winning.
killing it. Maybe
Oh,
we'll share Ali's next
I
week.
know, there was Jonathan was there as well, wasn't he? Sol, he'd made several placements, I think 3 placements from one short list.
Yeah.
We'd have been here all day if we'd have gone through all of them. All of them. So, okay, I saw a post on LinkedIn this week, Lou,
Oh yeah.
and the post was from a search consultant who
Right.
said, kind of covers a topic we discussed a little bit earlier, but I just want final clarification
Right.
from you. It said customers should work on a retained basis in this market because retaining guarantees you the very best candidate in the market.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yes. Absolutely. 100%. But it doesn't guarantee you to fill a position. That's the difference. It
Or the perfect
guarantees the very best candidate that is available to you in the market at this time. And that is different.
candidate?
So yes, the answer is yeah, definitely. What do you think?
I'd absolutely agree. I mean, we're dealing with people ultimately, aren't we?
Yeah.
So I can't guarantee that. Excuse me. When we take a brief, when we look at that perfect profile, I can't guarantee any customer that that's what I'm going to find. Maybe that person doesn't exist.
Mm,
Maybe they do exist, but they're just not interested in the opportunity at the moment.
mm,
There are certain things that are outside of our control, but we can guarantee the process that it's rigorous, that it's transparent, that it's robust, that we use all of the data and intelligence, and if we need to resteer, we use all of that data. And that means that when we reach a result, which we always do, it will be the best result available to them in the market at that time, and
yeah.
they'll know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I was taught by someone half decent, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. And I think to wrap it up, we said every week we wanted to talk about mindset. We wanted to let people know they can do this, that you can do it, that it's possible, that it's achievable.
Mm.
So we're going to call it our mindset minute. How cheesy is that? Right. So, do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
I think what I would say on mindset at this point in time is it's really easy, especially because you're hearing people on LinkedIn or news and the words recession and slowdown and downturn and market softening and all this bollocks basically that just makes you feel lacking in hope and energy and joy. And if you hang out in places where those are the words that are being used all the time, then you might be feeling a bit down, flat, jaded, tired, and it's really easy to feel like that. Surround yourself with people that aren't feeling like that, wherever that might be. You know, for me, that's on the tennis court as well as in our community, and avoid it. Like the mindset shifts when, especially when you start to see other people that are doing so well and changing the ways that they work and making such massive progress, then you start to be more optimistic and excited about what this time gives us the opportunity to do and see this time as an opportunity, not as a challenge or an obstacle.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose the only thing that I would add to that is you absolutely can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
Trust me, I say this a lot. If I can do it, yeah, and let's be honest, I was a pretty shit contingent recruiter. Like, I certainly wasn't
I
pulling
do
up
think
any
you're doing
trees.
yourself a disservice. I thought you were pretty good.
Yeah, let's say I'm
You
somewhere in
were good.
between.
You
I was
were
okay.
good.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, I wasn't
you
bad.
were good.
but I wasn't billing £1 million or anything at that
No,
point. Like, I'd never done retained
no,
before. I suppose what I did that a lot of others don't is I backed myself.
yeah,
And I trusted that if I found somebody that could show me how,
mm,
and I invested the time and the effort and I believed in it, that I could do it.
mm,
And it really isn't rocket
mm.
science.
It's funny actually you say that because I was working with one of our mastermind members this week, and he's absolutely killing it. He's killing it, and it's such a joy. I had a one-to-one call with him, and I said to him, "What is it? What would you say? What would you say has been the biggest contributor to that?" Did you know what he said? I'm a believer.
Jordan. Oh, sorry. Sorry. My mistake.
Yeah, I'd like to say that that's what he said, but isn't what he said.
So I actually missed what he actually did say then.
Of course he did. He said, I'm a believer. I
Right.
believe. I believe this is genuinely the best way of approaching pretty much any piece of hiring.
Yeah.
And I have to tell my clients that. And then I have to show them. And that is how the whole thing works for me. So that's
Yeah.
how I'd like to leave everyone on the mindset piece.
Become a believer.
Yeah. Yeah, when you believe, the rest can fall into place as long as you've got the knowledge and the support and the tools. It's just happy days. So there we go.
That sounds like it should be like one of the murals that people put on the kitchen wall, that when you believe the rest falls into place or
Ah,
something like
I
that.
like that. So what are you
Yeah.
doing this weekend, George?
Our wonderful marketing director, Sarah Chester, is getting married
No
tomorrow.
shit.
Yeah, yeah. So if anyone can give us tips on how to stay cool at a 30-degree wedding
Yeah.
in a blazer, I'd be massively
Oh,
grateful.
we've been running up to this
Um,
day for ages, haven't we? And we're so
yeah, we
excited
have.
to see her
It's gonna be cool.
walk down the aisle with the lovely Aaron. He's an absolute dream. They're going to be
Yeah,
brilliant together. I can't wait. I can't wait. And
but
of
I
course,
think
having a few drinks with you guys.
yeah, but it's important Sarah knows that we might be looking for a new marketing director. If I get one picture from a Thailand honeymoon
Yeah,
in the next 2
I
weeks,
know.
I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, Thailand.
Last time a day annoyed with me, Shandy.
I think it's even longer than 2 weeks, isn't it? I was looking at the calendar. It's like
Yeah.
nearly three. What are we going to
Oh,
do?
Joe.
What are we going to do without her, George?
Oh, we'll figure it out. We always
We've
do.
got
We'll run for it.
Charles going to hold the fort
We've
for
got,
us.
we've got Charles going to hold the fort, and we're believers.
And we're believers. We are believers. So,
Yeah.
we made it. We did it. Well, that was our first foray.
Episode 1.
Let us know what you think. I'm not sure whether there's going to be a means of you being able to let us know what you think or feeding back to us. Charles nodding. Yeah. Yeah, there is. So podcast at retrainedsearch.com.
Yeah.
So tell us what you
And
think.
also, I think on Apple Podcasts, you can mark us 5 stars. So,
Ah,
yeah, I
right.
listen to lots of podcasts, and they always tell me to do that. So I'm going to tell you to do that.
Otherwise,
So
we won't
please,
come back.
yeah,
We need 5
yeah,
stars. We need the encouragement. And if you want us back, then we need good feedback and 5 stars. Please.
please. Thanks.
Is that
Good.
it? Now do we say goodbye? See you next time.
Yeah. Episode 2 of the unnamed podcast.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, George, for being
Right.
awesome. Bye, everyone.
Cheers, mate.